Have you ever seen someone's physical reaction change and immediately thought, I know exactly what that means? You might be completely wrong, because the body can react to attraction, nervousness, stress, comfort, embarrassment, or simply being tired. And after 55, there's an even bigger reason you shouldn't judge a relationship by one physical signal. The most important clue usually isn't what the body does. It's what happens emotionally before and after. Stay until the end, because the final point may completely change how you interpret intimacy in a long-term relationship. When someone feels safe with you, they may become more relaxed. Conversation feels easier, they stop overthinking, their behavior becomes more natural. But when someone feels uncomfortable or pressured, things can change. They may become tense, quiet, distracted, or withdrawn. One moment tells you very little, repeated behavior tells you much more. And here's something people constantly misunderstand. Nervousness doesn't always mean attraction. Someone looks away, they become quiet, they seem nervous. And people immediately think they must be attracted to me. Not necessarily. Nervousness can come from uncertainty, embarrassment, pressure, or simply because the situation matters emotionally. A reaction is not an explanation. You need context. Have you ever misunderstood someone's behavior because you assumed you knew what they were thinking? If yes, comment yes. Now let's go deeper. Think about someone you've known for decades. You know their personality. You know their sense of humor. You can often tell when something is bothering them without them saying much. That familiarity can create emotional safety. And emotional safety means being able to be yourself, being honest, expressing what you're comfortable with, and expressing what you're not comfortable with. But here's the question: can physical closeness really feel meaningful without emotional trust? For many people, emotional connection plays a huge role, because intimacy isn't only about physical reactions, it's also about feeling safe enough to be vulnerable. People spend enormous amounts of time trying to decode body language. What did that look mean? Why did they move away? Why did they suddenly become quiet? But there can be dozens of explanations. Instead of creating a story in your head, communicate, ask, listen, respect the answer, because guessing can create misunderstanding. Communication creates clarity, and people change throughout life. Their preferences can change, their energy can change, their comfort levels can change, their bodies can change, their priorities can change. That doesn't automatically mean the relationship has become weaker. Sometimes it simply means the relationship needs a new conversation. Stress can affect how someone feels. Fatigue can affect behavior. Age can bring natural changes. Medications can sometimes influence physical responses. Mood matters, relationship tension matters. Even a difficult day can matter, so if something doesn't happen the way you expected, don't immediately think, they don't care about me anymore. That conclusion may be completely wrong. Instead ask, are you okay? How are you feeling? Is there anything you want to talk about? Sometimes one caring question can prevent an entire misunderstanding. And here's something many people forget. Intimacy isn't just about the body. It's being able to laugh together. It's being able to talk about uncomfortable subjects. It's knowing your partner respects your boundaries. It's feeling heard. It's knowing you can say not today without being punished emotionally. And it's knowing that affection isn't something you have to earn. So what matters more in a long-term relationship? Physical attraction or emotional connection? Comment physical or emotional. Now we're getting to the biggest mistake. People try to read one signal instead of the whole person. One look doesn't tell you everything. One reaction doesn't tell you everything. One quiet moment doesn't tell you everything. One difficult day doesn't tell you everything. But patterns can tell you more. Do they communicate? Do they show respect? Do they make time for each other? Do they feel safe together? Do they still show curiosity about each other's lives? Those are much more meaningful questions. And here's the part I really want you to remember. After 20, 30, or 40 years together, your relationship isn't supposed to look exactly like it did when you were younger. Life changes, people change, bodies change, responsibilities change, but something can become stronger. Understanding. You learn your partner's fears. You learn their habits. You learn what makes them laugh. You learn when they need comfort. You learn when they need space. And eventually, you may realize something beautiful. You don't need to decode every reaction anymore. You know how to ask. You know how to listen. You know how to respect the answer. That's a much deeper form of intimacy. So here's the final question. If you could choose only one foundation for a lasting, intimate relationship, what would it be? Trust, communication, or emotional connection? Comment just one word, and here's your final takeaway. Don't try to read someone's body when you can understand their feelings through communication. A physical reaction can change in a moment, but trust takes years to build, respect takes consistency, and genuine emotional connection can become more valuable with every year you spend together. So if you're over 55 and you're entering a new chapter of life, remember this. You don't have to understand every signal. You don't have to guess what someone is thinking. You don't have to prove anything. Sometimes the strongest connection begins with something incredibly simple. Tell me how you're feeling, and then having the patience to actually listen. If you enjoy psychology, relationships, human behavior, and real-life insights, subscribe to Psycho Facts Hub. Because the older we get, the more we may realize something. Real intimacy isn't about perfectly reading another person. It's about making them feel safe enough to tell you the truth.